Welcome back to Universe. I'm Andrew, and today I'm finishing my playthrough of Marvel Age of Heroes with Shadowcat vs. Magik. I had to split it into two parts because it went on so long, so make sure to check the link in the description to part one if you haven't seen it already. With that out of the way, let's get started. Student goes back to the supply. Xavier protocols didn't change at all, still 7 cards. And it is Shadowcat's turn. Oh, and the round tracker goes to 5. And yeah, let's go to Pixie. That was the plan, right? To get 4 willpower up to 6 and place 1 somewhere else. Magik hasn't been playing a lot of cards, although she did just draw 3. But I'm going to put, like, we both are low on resources. Well, I guess Shadowcat has nice blues and reds now. But we're going to make a bluff and tell Magik she needs to play an action card if she wants this point of willpower. And I think Magik is going to let Shadowcat get away with it. She's going to go to Xavier and get those potential leader points, as well as, I think, just the 4 physical. Well, she could go to Iceman and get 6. Yeah, we'll get 6, going up to 8. Shadowcat has an interesting decision. No, she's going to go to Beast and get 4 mental. Then Magik can go to Xavier now and get the 4 physical. Or she's already at 8. So maybe just get the 3 yellow from the research lab. Well, we can't just do generic resources. We're going to have to figure out how to deal those specific rows of damage. And theoretically, one player should want to defeat one of them as fast as possible to win the game. And the other player should want to slow it down and spread the damage out. Theoretically, if you're losing, you want to slow the game down a little bit and not help your opponent take out one villain and advance the game state. On the other hand, you might want to score some of those points for the win defeated abilities, but the points cost resources in both these cases anyway. So tough call. So Shadowcat is going to spend 2 physical, going down to 5 to use the diminutive Lockheed to go to the same space as Shadowcat, activating Pixie again for 4 more mental, going up to the big old 10 maximum mental. That'll trigger it again to place another blue. And do we press our luck and give Magik a potential 2? No, it doesn't make sense because Shadowcat was thinking she might go to that space, but now she's at max blues. So we may as well spread it out. Make her give us another ally. In addition, we'll trigger Mascot for 4 points because we sent Lockheed to an ally, going up to 64. Magik is going to finally call that bluff at the med bay. She's going to take first player and play an action card. And that action, she also gets this, which can be any color, but I think she'll keep it as the willpower. And she's going to play Fastball Special. Assign a hero or student from your board to an open space on a team up or mission tile. And she's just going to go straight over to Mystique and do 1 Epsilon and do 1 Sigma damage with 8 red and 3 yellow, going down to 0 and 0, but scoring 13 points up to 67, taking the lead, keeping it a close game. Shadowcat's going to get her last ability, and it's a little bit late, so she's going to go to this evolution card. She's going to pay 1 of each, going down to 4, 3, and 9 to play Strong Bonds. When an opponent assigns a hero or student to an ally you recruited, you get 2 points. So that would have been nice to have all along, but she just prioritized other stuff along the way. Magik just spent everything she had. She's going to go pick up 4 more physical. I think Shadowcat wants the cards. Well, she's got 3 students. So yeah, let's take some cards. Put 1 back. And I don't think she's going to play Karma. So that now is 8. But she's going to draw 3 off the top. Magik's going to take an X-Jet spot. She doesn't have a team up card to play, so she's going to block that, but she wants to be able to go in the mission phase. Shadowcat's going to go to that spot where she put the blue token, so she can go regain that 1 she spent back up to 10 willpower and play an ally, and she's going to play Mondo. When you go there, you get to draw 3 cards and return up to 3 students from your player board for 6 points each. And she's actually going to put the first ally of the game over here into the extraction zone. So during the mission phase, that's a new spot that players will have access to, whether just as it's your normal action from the X-Jet or if a villain is defeated and they're moving off into the extraction zone. One pawn will be able to go there to Mondo. Mark that for Shadowcat. Magik is out of pawns, but she still has students, and I think she's going to send one to get 3 mental there. And Shadowcat has one more pawn, and she's going to go to the X-Jet. Magik, I think, is going to pass and save her last student. She's already claimed her spot on the turn order track, otherwise she'd do that now. I think Shadowcat made a mistake earlier. I was planning to send 2 of her pawns to the X-Jet. So I'm gonna fix that because it was a pretty cool plan. It wouldn't have changed Magik's plan at all. Just instead of sending the pawn to play Mondo, we'll send a student. And now this turn, she'll go to the X-Jet and then probably not use the last student. Actually, what the heck? Let's go to the med bay, play an event, and it's going to be extra effort. Return one of your heroes to your player board. So that must mean hero pawn, which means for leader, it must mean hero pawn as well, because there's no way it means return all of your pawns representing a particular hero to your player board. Then assign a hero or student from your board to an open space. Well, there's now an open space, which is Beast. Be interesting to be able to reuse Lockheed like that and score mascot points again, but that doesn't work if we used his diminutive ability. So anyway, we'll just put Shadowcat right back at Beast and get 4 mental again, going up to 7. Thanks to extra effort. Magik has already passed. Shadowcat will now pass and claim her space in the turn order. We'll go to the mission phase, starting with Magik because she went there first. And that's because all she could afford is something cheap. Well, she could take either of the top row spots. And the top one on Juggernaut is actually worth more points, 8 instead of 6, and it's cheaper. The counter argument would be she could trigger Soul Sword points and build up more tokens on Mystique to get more points from Soul Sword in the future. Again, score 1 point per player marker you have on a mission tile when you place a token on a mission tile. Well, in fact, that would score her the 1 point right away. It counts as soon as you start placing 1. She should have gotten 1 point for that, so I'll put her up to 68. Because the token placed triggers this ability and counts itself. So she could build up the Soul Sword or just get the cheaper, bigger bonus immediately from Juggernaut. I think she'll plan on doing Mystique later and go ahead and do that now. So it's going to cost 1 strength down to 3, 3 mental down to 0, and 2 willpower down to 0 for 8 points plus 1 from Soul Sword. Is 9, going to 77. Then Shadowcat will send one of her X-Jet pawns over to Mirage. So she's going to spend 3 yellow, going to 4, and 4 blue, going to 6 to trigger that and deal 1 psi damage. And she'll take one of the big 14s off Mystique, going up to 78, 1 point ahead, but she has another one. And this one's going to go to armor, costing her 1 yellow down to 3 and 4 blue down to 2 to deal another psi damage. Also to Mystique for another 14 points, going up to 92. Armor's tough, says place 2 red tokens on a space other than this one. So she's got to beef up another space, and she's going second next round. I feel like Magik is going to jump on whatever it is, unless she hides it down in the mission phase area and could potentially get first shot at it. So you know what? Yeah, she's going to put these on Sunfire instead of making it easy for Magik. At the end of the round, we'll score leader points. So Magik is on Xavier. She gets 2 points for each X-Men she went to, which would be 1, 2 for 4 points, going to 81. But Shadowcat gets to score Mirage, who's the team leader of the Young X-Men. She gets 6 points for each Young X-Men she went to, and that would be Armor and Pixie. And in fact, she has 2 heroes on Pixie. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 18 points. So just so you can see, I'm scoring exorbitant points here for Shadowcat. Leader, Young X-Men, at the end of the round, score 6 points for each hero you have on a Young X-Men ally or team-up card. Armor's a team-up, Pixie's an ally, both Young X-Men. Absolutely has 2 different heroes on a Young X-Men card. Only question would be, does the same hero count if it's 2 separate hero pawns? But based on other uses of the word hero, I feel like it does. So we're going to score 18 points, putting her up to 110. So she's actually going to claim this 100 point chip in addition to going to the 10. So that's a great combo with Mirage. Players will reclaim their pawns. I wonder if there's anything that Magik would have wanted to do to stop that, or if she would have seen it coming. It's weird because when I'm playing both sides, I can kind of silo my mind to think from one player's perspective, but what I cannot do is think from my player's perspective while also paying attention to what the other player is doing. Somehow I just like switch brains. I can't actually think like multiple steps ahead from a given player's perspective. It seems like that would be easy because it'd be like, well, you know everything that you're thinking for one player, so why don't you think of that for the other player ahead of time? I can do that a very limited amount. These come back, these slide over. But Magik didn't have the blues, so Mirage and Armor both took 4 blues, and Magik just didn't have them. She couldn't have blocked either of those. And of course, Shadowcat took the pixie space at the beginning of the round. Go to round 6. This time we are starting with Magik, and that fight over pixie continues. So Magik gets it this time. Maybe she can use Mirage. Although she doesn't have the same kind of doubling up abilities that Shadowcat has with the diminutive Lockheed. Magik has to place 1 blue somewhere. Now, all these students should have returned. Well, this will actually let Shadowcat draw a card. I feel like I might have been forgetting about some of those, but hopefully not. I think Magik's going to do the same bluff this time. Put it on the Medbay action card space. Oh, and all of these should have cleared out. There were 8 cards. So they all get discarded and replaced by 4 new ones. I think the big resources are what players want. So let's get the 6 red. Go up to 10 physical. Magik will take the yellow, going up to 4. So that does give Shadowcat 1. Shadowcat's going to go to Professor Xavier and trigger the dormitories for 2 willpower. Magik's going to get some more resources. Let's get 4 physical up to 7. Shadowcat's going to spend 2 physical down to 8 to use the diminutive Lockheed to go to Professor Xavier. And activate the dormitories again, going up to 5 willpower. Oh, that actually... I skipped triggering the 2 physical for Magik. She's the one who recruited Xavier. So she's going to get 4 more. Actually caps her out at 10. Then she's going to go to the research lab for 3 mental. She's got a nice chunk of resources now all of a sudden. But the mascot should have triggered on Lockheed for 4 points, going to 14. I think Shadowcat is going to claim the top X-Jet space, and she can play an ally, which will be Magma. So for 9 physical and 5 willpower, you get to deal 1 sigma damage and get 2 points for each of your markers on the villain you just placed a marker on. So that's going to go here, claimed by Shadowcat. I think Magik needs a little bit more still. She's going to go to the dormitories for 2 willpower up to 6. Shadowcat's going to go play an action card and claim 1 willpower up to 6, and she's going to play extra effort again, so she gets to pick up 1 pawn. She's going to pick up Lockheed. Oh, but then she can't put him back on Xavier because it's blocked. So last round she like picked up a character and then put them back. But if she picks up Lockheed, she's going to have to go somewhere else. Unless she spends 2 red again for a diminutive. And I think that works fine, because what we want to do is go down to 6, place him back on Xavier to activate the danger room to get 4 physical. So I just really needed to be at 9. So I was at 8. I needed 1 more. I was going to overkill it up to 12, capped at 10, but going down to 6 up to 10 is fine as well. I placed Lockheed again, so I'll trigger Mascot again for 4 more points up to 18. We'll specifically place him on an ally. And that was the resolution of extra effort. Magik just has 1 pawn left, and she definitely wants to go to the X-Jet. She wants to be able to do some damage. Now Shadowcat has 1 more pawn. She can play an action, but she doesn't want to. She can play an ally, but she doesn't have one. She can play an evolution card, but she's played them all. So I think she's just actually going to the X-Jet, even though she's not going to be able to do another attack. She'll be able to use Mondo potentially. So we'll go ahead and go to the mission phase. Shadowcat is first. So her first pawn, though, she's sending to Magma. So she's going to spend 9 red going down to 1 and 5 blue going down to 1. And that's going to deal 1 sigma damage, which she's going to put on Mystique. That's 13 points up to 31. And she gets that blaster ability, 2 points for each of your pawns or markers on the villain you just placed on, which is now 3. So that's 6 more points up to 37. Magik is up next, and she's going to spend 10 red and 5 blue just to be able to go. She can't even do that. I was thinking she could get 10 points from this Juggernaut space, but man, that's really pricey. 10 points. That's 10 red and 7 blue for 10 points on psi damage. I feel like Juggernaut really wants you to use the special abilities. Well, I guess Magik can totally afford to do that. That's better. She'll get Mirage to help, so she's going to spend 3 yellow down to 4 and 4 blue down to 2 in order to deal 1 psi damage and get the 10 points that way. She's up to 91. She's pretty far behind now. Also, since she used Mirage's or Shadowcat's team up card, Mirage, Shadowcat gets 3 more points, going to 40. Then Shadowcat gets to take her turn. I don't think she can afford to do much. Well, she could go to Psylocke, but she doesn't need to play an event. Draw a card would be okay. But she'll go to Mondo instead, and she gets to draw 3 cards. Yeah, we'll take this all-new X-Men one and 2 more off the top. So when Shadowcat went to the med base, she should have claimed first player, which means when Magik eventually passed, she would have had to take second player, and those effectively swap. Reclaim the pawns. This time there are fewer than 4 cards, so a new one comes out. Move the round tracker to 7, so this actually advances. Now the extraction zone ability is to either gain 2 of any resources, play an evolution card, or play an ally. And that'll be for rounds 7 and 8. Shadowcat is up. She still hasn't done any Omega damage all game. And let's go for Pixie. Get 4 blues. To 5. Place a blue on the ally spot. So tempt Magik to play an ally to give Shadowcat a new extra interesting special ability. Oh, and I totally skipped the leader abilities. So Magik, I remember, was on Mirage as well as Pixie, so she'll get 6 points there, going up to 97. And Shadowcat had both Shadowcat and Lockheed on Xavier, and then one on Iceman, I believe, or Beast, one of them. So that would be 6 more points, going to 46. And Magma is from the New Mutants. Well, I don't think I gave Magik her Soul Sword points. When she had Juggernaut, she should have gotten 2 extra points because she's got 2 tokens there. So she's at 99. And she's still maxed out on red because she didn't get to spend it, which is a huge bummer. But she'll go to Beast for 4 yellow. Unfortunately, that's going to give Shadowcat 1 yellow as well. Shadowcat's going to go to Iceman for 6 physical, up to 7. So we're not in the end game yet, but for sure Magik is going to want to play her last couple of evolution cards. So they don't do anything. That's the thing, is they're pretty pricey because you got to pay for these 2 slots, but they're just worth points. They're not going to help her except for trying to win the game. So when do you spend all those resources on those cards? The last minute if possible. But you also want to make sure it gets done. We're not even in the final boss yet, so it's not urgent, but it's something to be thinking about. And it's also probably worth calculating. Let's see, this one's going to be worth 18 points, and this one's going to be worth 12. So that's 30 more points on top of this being 6. So she's basically at plus 36, assuming she gets to play these. That's still behind, though, which means she does need to be on the strategy of slowing down. Shadowcat is focus firing Mystique to try to get to the end game, so Magik needs to keep hitting Juggernaut. I think Magik is going to claim the first X-Jet spot. So she wants the first shot at one of the team-up cards going into the mission phase. She already has really high red and yellow, and there's no great options for raising blue, so she may as well just do that. Shadowcat is going to... Oh, it's also notable Magik doesn't have a team-up card, so she blocked that spot. There won't be a new team-up card coming out, except that Shadowcat's going to play an event, and that event is training exercise. We saw that earlier. She gets to play a team-up card and then assign to it immediately. So I wonder if that's what happened earlier in the game when I thought I did 2 Magik turns in a row. Maybe it was a training exercise. So she's going to bring out the all-new X-Men. A team-up card, an X-Men card, costs 5 red, 4 yellow, and 3 blue to do any type of damage, and bring that out as the last available team-up card in the game. That should give people plenty of options, and she's going to assign to that immediately, pay 5 red down to 2, 4 yellow down to 1, and 3 blue down to 2, but she gets to deal any damage. And I guess it's time to do that Sigma damage for 9 points plus 6 points is 15, going up to 161. Mystique only needs one more hit to get knocked out. Well, Magik is going to take the Xavier space to get copy the dormitories, get 2 willpower up to 3. Shadowcat is going to spend 2 physical to use diminutive Lockheed to go to Iceman, get 4 points, go to 65. Get 6 more physical up to 6. Magik is going to go to the dormitories regular style for 2 more blue up to 5. Shadowcat actually only has 1 more pawn and she hasn't even assigned to the X-Jet yet. She wanted to finish off Mystique, but she's a little bit short. She's actually 1 yellow short of being able to do that top row Epsilon damage. But I don't think it even makes sense for her to go to the X-Jet. She won't be able to do much of anything. Oh man, actually it would have been a good turn for the alternate form on M. Oh no, you still have to pay for it. Yeah, I'm still a little confused about that. But I think she's just going to go to Cerebro to play an ally, claim the blue token she placed there, go up to 3, and play Nightcrawler. So Nightcrawler is interesting. Only heroes can go there. When you go there, you swap with someone else's pawn that's already been placed, or specifically a hero pawn. You get to activate the new space. So basically you get to take the action that somebody else has already blocked, and you move their pawn to Nightcrawler. So both spaces end up blocked, but you get to use an action that got blocked by somebody else. So now this is going to be available, and I realized far too late, I think these are actually the best space. I think these are kind of the dregs. You should be placing allies in the med bay early because you get a student, an extra action whenever anyone does it. And then extra action is better than, you know, a little bit of resources, a pittance of resources. An action can give you a full allotment of resources. So I definitely recommend in your own plays, take the med base spaces first. Try to play allies early in order to do so. Now I just placed the last Shadowcat disc. So because it's a 2-player game, you'll use them, you'll run out faster, I think, because in a more player game, more people would be competing for these spaces. You'd be playing, you actually have a lot fewer pawns per round, and so your pawns wouldn't be used up all on the board like this. But the rules do say that if you need to, you can use replacement pieces. But because we went to the med bay, Shadowcat also gets to claim first player, which means Magik will be second player in the next round. So keep that turn order. But yeah, that was Shadowcat's last marker. So hopefully figure out what to do if I need more. I think Magik, I mean, that's a nice spot. She's going to go to Nightcrawler and swap with Shadowcat on Pixie, which means she gets 4 blue up to 9, and she's going to place a blue. Now that's also going to give Shadowcat a student, so she's got to be careful where she puts this because Shadowcat hasn't passed yet and she might still place that student. But where to put it? Actually, you're allowed to place it in any space, I think. So I think she'd be allowed to put it onto the X-Jet. And students can't go to the X-Jet. So I think Shadowcat will pass and save her student for later. And then Magik, with still 1 pawn remaining, can go to the X-Jet and get this willpower up to 10. She could still place her student if she wants to, but I don't think she will. So we'll go into the mission phase. Just Magik gets to go twice. Unfortunately, she can't do the Mirage armor combo for the young X-Men points. She does have the Pixie points, though, queued up if she goes to Mirage. But the problem is armor, or rather they both do the psi damage, and Juggernaut, there's only 1 psi damage spot available. So not great, but I do think she'll go to Mirage, spend 3 yellow, going down to 5, along with 4 blue, going down to 6 to do 1 psi damage. And that'll be on Juggernaut here for 10 points, bringing her up to 109. She gets a 100-point chip of her own finally. Oh, plus 3 more points from the Soul Sword puts her up to 112. And she's tempted to go to Magma to get some extra blaster points. But that's effectively, I mean, she is 3 more reds expensive than Sunfire. Plus, Sunfire gives 2 reds back. Plus, she would not give Shadowcat 3 points. But that blaster ability is worth 8 points. It's 0-sum game, so that's a net of 5 points. I mean, if you do the 3 to Shadowcat here versus 8 to Magik here. So it's like 5 points for 5 reds. Is it worth paying 5 red for 5 points? Probably, Probably is, actually. So she's going to go to Magma, go from 10 all the way down to 1, and from 6 blue down to 1, dealing 1 psi damage to Juggernaut. That's a 15-point space. She goes up to 27. She has to give Shadowcat 3 points, 168. But then she gets to do 2 damage for each of her markers there. She now has 4, so that's 8 points. Plus Soul Sword is 1 point for each of her markers there. That's 4 points, so that's 12. So 139. Well, now Magma is going to be offline, so we don't have to worry about blasters for now because there's no more Sigma damage to deal. Mystique and Juggernaut both have 1 Epsilon damage remaining and then an Omega spot on Juggernaut. That'll end the round, so Magik gets to trigger the leader ability of Mirage. She has 1 hero on a young X-Men, so that's 6 points, putting her up to 145. She also got Xavier, so she gets 2 points for each of her heroes on an X-Men, which is going to be 2, 4, and that's it. So 4 more points up to 149. And then we can safely return our pawns. We go to round 8. Xavier protocols are fine. Shadowcat is first. I still think Pixie is the go-to move here. Going up to 7 blues. Nightcrawler is going to put a twist on things, though. Going to bring out 1 token here. At this point, I also almost wonder if we want to tempt someone into going to Xavier. Or you know what? It might be... Well, I think Shadowcat wants Magik to go to Nightcrawler so she can get an extra student. But I don't think she needs to incentivize her so hard as to give her an extra willpower. So Magik's thinking she wants her extra Soul Sword triggers. So she wants to hit Juggernaut a couple more times if possible. So that's an Epsilon and an Omega damage. We don't have any way to deal Epsilon, or we don't have anywhere to deal Omega except for all new X-Men, which can do anything. And then M can do 1 Epsilon somewhat cheaply. Well, it actually costs more resources than just the space that Juggernaut has for it. Oh, actually, no, his space is 14 resources. So this is a lot more cheap. Plus it gives you 3 points. So Magik is definitely eyeing M. And if she can, she would love to do both of these to finish off Juggernaut. So I think to make headway toward that, she's going to need to go to Iceman for 6 red up to 7. She needs 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total, though. All Shadowcat is thinking about is doing that last damage to Mystique, which she's only 1 yellow away from, but she's also basically the whole Institute phase away. Unless she wants to play this fastball special, this lets you assign a hero or student to a team up or mission right away. Or you have to do an action to activate this, and then you have to spend another pawn or student to do the fighty bit. So I don't know if it's totally worth it. I mean, it lets you kind of jump in and do something before someone else might get to it, but I don't think Magik is going to want to do that last hit to Mystique anyway, so we don't have to rush for it. We just need to make sure we have the resources when it does come time to do the deal. And to that end, I suppose we want to go to Beast and bring up our resources. So from 1 to 5, yellow mental resources for Shadowcat. I think Magik will take the Xavier space, get the 1 blue. She can actually take that as wild, but I think she wants the blue. She's going to need 3, 4 total blues right now. Now she's got 2, so she still needs 2 more to do what she wants. And yeah, may as well make that happen now by using Xavier on the dormitories. I think Shadowcat's going to spend 2 red to use the diminutive Lockheed on Beast and go up to 6 or 9 yellow. Magik's going to take the Headmaster office space and put back this mission prep card that gives everyone a wild resource. Kind of weird thing to have to spend a card on to give one to everybody. So she's going to draw 3. You know what? I'm sorry. She needs a team up card, so she's just going to draw 2. Well, 3 total. Shadowcat's going to go to the danger room for 4 physical, going to 8. She's tempted to go to Nightcrawler and get Iceman. That would deprive, I mean, they'd switch places, so that would deprive Magik of the 2 points for Iceman, although Nightcrawler is also an X-Men, so never mind about that. But the problem is she really wants Magik to go to Nightcrawler so she can get a student, which will give her an extra action. Nobody's gone to the X-Jet yet, though. And Magik is planning to go twice. So she's going to go ahead and go now so she can get the early pick. And Shadowcat's also going to want to go, so she'll do that. Magik is going to take another spot there. I don't know that they're going to be fighting over anything, but they both are worried about the other person might do. In fact, Shadowcat might just spend resources raw to deal that easy epsilon damage on Mystique. It's 4 red, 2 yellow, and 1 blue. Pretty low cost relative to some of them. But when the final boss comes out, who knows what she's going to want to do. And here I think Shadowcat will use a student to go to the dormitories for 2 blue. She's just kind of maxing out as much as she can. So she got 8, 9, and 9. Just again, because she doesn't know what she's going to want once the final boss comes out. Magik does know what she wants. She wants to hit Juggernaut for as many points as she can. So Magik's going to send a student to the... Well, no, she's going to send herself to the research lab for 3 more mental up to 8. No, she is going to send the student. And Shadowcat will give herself another shot at the X-Jet. I just realized Nightcrawler says it has to be to a different pawn at the same location, and I was intuitively thinking that meant somewhere in the green section, basically the Institute, not down in the mission phase or extraction zone section, or up on one of those boards. And I still think that's true, although I did have a moment of confusion thinking, wait, are the medical bay, cerebro, danger room, research lab, dormitories, are those the locations, which means you can only switch within the med bay? I don't think so. I didn't read all the way back through the rule book, but they call these the Institute action spaces. So I'm going to stick with saying this whole place is one location, and that makes Nightcrawler seem good, but reasonable, as opposed to pretty bad if he can only switch within these 2 spots. And I think Magik is going to go to Nightcrawler and then awkwardly switch with Shadowcat for 4 more red here at the danger room. That's going to give Shadowcat another student. And Magik already had 7, so she's going up to 10 and wasting 1. But she really wants to be able to pay for all new X-Men and M. Shadowcat can take another action if she wants to, now that she just got a student. The student can't go to the X-Jet. She doesn't really want to play a card, so she will pass, which actually lets her lock in first player again, and then Magik will pass. We go to the mission phase, and Magik gets to go first. She's going to take the one that would be most likely taken by anybody, which is all new X-Men. So that's unlikely that Shadowcat would want to take M, although we'll see. So she's going to go to all new X-Men, spend 5 red, go to 5, 4 yellow down to 4, and 3 blue down to 1. That will let her deal any 1 damage she wants, and that'll be the Omega spot on Juggernaut for 9 points, plus 5 more points from Soul Sword, because she's got 5 tokens there now, so that's 14, going up to 163. Actually very close now. However, she does give 3 points to Shadowcat, who recruited the all-new X-Men, going to 171. Shadowcat gets to go next, and she's just going to go directly to Mystique, spending 4 red down to 4, 2 yellow down to 7, and 1 blue down to 8. To do that last spot of damage. She doesn't have any more tokens, so just have to pretend that she's putting one right here to deal damage for 6 points, going up to 177. That is Mystique's last point of damage, so she's defeated. Shadowcat gets to regain these tokens for future use. Then for each of your markers there, you can spend 2 red to get 3 points. Magik had 1. But she has plans for her reds. Does Shadowcat want to do that? 2 reds for 3 points. She could do that like 5 times, but I don't think she will. She might want those. I mean, reds are the easiest to get. All right, we're going to spend 2. We're just going to do it 1 time. Now we'll do the full 2. We're going to get 6 more points out of that. Go to 183. Mystique is defeated. I think both of these are discarded now. This gets to be placed to the extraction zone. So Shadowcat can get 2 of anything, play an evolution, or play an ally. Well, I think she'll just get 2 of anything. And you know what? Let's just make it blue. Go up to 10 there. And Mystique's text means the final test comes out. And I randomly selected this out of 4 options before I set it aside. I haven't looked at it yet. So let's see who it is. The Silver Samurai is a final test. All right, I hadn't even looked at this. I did not expect the Silver Samurai to be a final boss character, but he's got a damage in every slot. When defeated, the player with the most player markers here gains 10 points. If tied, each player gains the full amount and the game ends. So he's got 2 epsilons, 2 sigmas, 2 psis, and 2 omegas. And then this is the damage, or the mission bar thing that shows how much each slot will cost. So the costs seem a little higher but not too high. I don't know, they kind of look average compared to the other ones. Anyway, we'll put Silver Samurai there. Magik's X-Jet opportunity is next, so she gets to use M. Although, let's take a look at M again. See if we can make sense of this. Alternate form. When assigning to this space, instead of this space's cost and benefit, you may discard a team up card to use the cost and benefit of the action space as though you had assigned a student. Honestly, I don't understand, but I'm going to play it as instead of actually placing her pawn onto M, she's going to discard this bishop card. So this is why I took the team up card earlier. And she's not going to place Magik, which means she's still going to have Magik available to place somewhere else. I don't know. I think she needed to spend a turn doing it in order to make it happen, but she doesn't actually have to expend the Magik pawn, and M isn't blocked now because there's no actual pawn placed on it. And that justifies why it has that valuable recruit ability. It's like, yeah, you can go there as much as you want, as long as nobody's blocked it by ignoring the alternate form ability, but whoever recruited that team up is going to get 6 points every time. I don't know. That's what I'm doing, and that's probably why Shadowcat's never gone there. She wasn't going to give Magik 6 points for a team up card usage. But Magik is discarding the team up to do it. She's spending the 4 red going down to 1, 2 yellow down to 2, and 1 blue down to 0. To do 1 epsilon damage in addition to gaining 3 points. So it's the 8 printed there plus 3 more from this effect here, which is 11, plus she's got 6 there, so her soul sword gives her 6. So that's 17 points, going from 163 to 180. And again, she's just behind Shadowcat. Juggernaut says when defeated, for each of your player markers here, you can spend 2 yellows for 4 points. Well, Magik does have 2 yellows, so she'll spend them for 4 points. And actually surpass Shadowcat now. Juggernaut can be discarded, and there's no, the final test has already been revealed, so it doesn't happen again. So Silver Samurai will be the end of the game. Magik was tempted to put a hit on Silver Samurai to start vying for those 10 points, but she really just wanted to lock in those Soul Sword points that she'd been building up, get an extra, 6 or 7 points from that. I guess she could have done it later, but she'd have to do it before the game ended, and Shadowcat could have blocked her by finishing off Juggernaut to prevent that 6-point trigger. So Shadowcat still has an X-Jet action, so she gets to do another mission action. She has yellows and blues available. She also has her pawn on Pixie, so she's going to go to Mirage, get that team up, or that leader bonus again. It's going to cost her 3 yellows down to 4 and 4 blues down to 6. She gets to deal 1 psi damage. Put that onto Silver Samurai for 15 points. Go to 198. And then Magik has basically no resources left, but she can still just go like directly to the extraction zone or to Mondo. Well, he's in the extraction zone. And yeah, I do think she needs to build up more resources. She may as well take the 2 while she can get it. So Magik is on 2 X-Men allies. 3, so she gets 6 points from Xavier. 190. Shadowcat is on Mirage, so she gets 6 points for each young X-Men, which is Pixie, so you get 6 points there. Go to 204, flip this 100 over to the 200 side. So I feel like the points would be a lot lower when you have more players, because the fewer players there are, the more work they do toward ending the game, and therefore the more points they get. But if you had a full 4-player game, then you'd be dividing the points. We'll return our pawns, go to round 9, which actually means we advance this thing over. Now you can get 4 of anything or 5 points in the extraction zone for the rest of the game. Shadowcat's up first, and she's going to Pixie. It's not just the blues that are so valuable with Pixie, it's the fact that you have the potential to get 6 points with Mirage. So the blues are valuable, and you potentially get those 6 points. Oops, I accidentally dealt epsilon damage instead of psi damage, or rather sigma damage instead of psi damage. That's actually a spot worth 5 fewer points. So I'm going to bring Shadowcat back down to 199. Hopefully I did that math right. I feel like I messed something up. But that does mean that we're not going to be able to do a Mirage and armor, because only 1 more psi damage is going to be dealt this whole game. Shadowcat's going to put the blue on Xavier again. Now it really is just a race to do the most efficient damage to that guy. Although actually Magik has an additional challenge. She needs to play her last 2 evolution cards to score like 30 points or something. So she needs to max resources, and the colors don't really matter. This is 5 of anything. This is 2 red, 2 yellow, and 3 blue. So she does have some restrictions. Oh, these students should be gone. But really, she just needs a bunch of resources. So she's going to go to Iceman. Get 6 up to 7 physical. Shadowcat still has max blue. She would have liked to go to Iceman. I almost wonder if it's worth teleporting over. I think it is. She's going to go to Nightcrawler and swap to Iceman for 6. Magic's going to take the 4 at Beast. I don't think they're going to finish Silver Samurai this round. That's a lot of damage spots. So I think Magic can hold off on spending it. She wants to claim the best, most efficient spaces here. Shadowcat's going to spend 2 red down to 4 and send Lockheed with her to Iceman to get 6 more, up to 10. Magic will go to Xavier to get the Danger Room 4 red plus the 1 blue token. She's actually at 7 red, so she loses 1 up to 10, but I still think that's fine. We'll also give her Xavier points for Xavier plus Beast plus Nightcrawler. So she'd love to get this all new X-Men as well. Although 2 points for her, but 3 points for Shadowcat isn't great. But this is probably the most efficient space. Well, Sunfire's the most efficient. And this is Magic's ally. I think Shadowcat will jump into the X-Jet to get priority. Magic's going to go to the research lab for 3 mental. Shadowcat's going to go to the X-Jet again. Magic's going to go to Cerebro to play an ally. So she's going to play the Stepford Cuckoos. You can go there for 5 mental, but you have to put a yellow somewhere else as well. And she's going to claim the other med base spot finally. A little bit late in the game, but that is tempting for Shadowcat and could give Magic another worker, another student. Oh, you know what? I've been forgetting these strong bonds all along. Every time Magic goes to a Shadowcat ally, Shadowcat gets 2 more points. So it only counts for allies, not for team-ups. I think I'm going to give Shadowcat 6 points for that. That sounds about right. 205. Because she hasn't had this out for too long. But I know that, well, I'm not sure how often she's done it. I'll stick with 6. Well, I do think Shadowcat wants those yellows. She's going to send a student to get the 5 for her, bringing her up to 9, and place 1. There aren't that many open spots. I wonder if you can put it on the headmaster office. I guess the headmaster office is 1 big space. Or do you put it on just like a single one of the spaces? Let's just say the headmaster office in general. Put it right on his forehead. So my face cam gave out, and my other recorders are also threatening to run out of batteries. A bunch of old cell phones and my current cell phone, because the game is going pretty long. It's not too long for this style of game, but it's longer than I normally record. So Magic gets a student because Shadowcat placed on the Stepford Cuckoo's ally. And I think Magic does need some more blue, so she's going to send that student there for 2. Wow, Magic hasn't even gone to the X-Jet yet. Shadowcat actually has 1 more pawn, and I guess she's going to go to the headmaster office, get that yellow, claim the 3 spot. She's fully maxed out now, and she's going to put back a card. She's going to put back this ally, because we're not full on allies, but she doesn't really feel the need to play more. So draw 3. Then Magic will finally send herself to the X-Jet. Shadowcat gets to go first, though. I do think the all-new X-Men makes the most sense. There is a cheaper spot up there. It just costs 2 of each color, but it's also only 8 points. Or she might want to lock in being able to use Mirage to make sure she gets these 6 points. But no, she's going to do this one. This also denies 2 points, well, from Xavier, but then she'd get 3 points if Magic goes there. So you know what? Let's preserve resources and let Magic give us 3 points. I'm actually going to go to Sunfire. So we're going to give Magic 3 points. 193, spend 6 red down to 4, 5 blue down to 5, but we get these 2 red tokens to go back up to 6 red, and we get to deal a Sigma damage, which is going to be worth 15 points. Go to 220. Shadowcat has the next X-Jet action as well. I think she's going to go to M. We're going to do that. So it's double points for Magic, so 6 points this time. Puts her to 199. I'm not going to spend the pawn. We're going to return it. Do the same thing Magic did before. Still going to pay 4, 2, and 1, going down to 2, 8, and 4, and deal 1 epsilon damage here, which is worth 8 points, up to 228. I mean, playing it that way means that Shadowcat's pawn is still the next most one because it didn't get placed. but I'm going to let Magik go next because I have no idea how this is supposed to work. That just seems more fair. And the best value here would be to get the 15-point spot. So I think going to all new X-Men makes sense. Spending 5 down to 5, 4 down to 3, and 3 down to 2 to do any color or any type of damage, which will be the 15 plus 1 from Soul Sword makes 16, going up to 215 for Magik. Then Shadowcat gets to go, and she's going to go to that topmost space. She's going to spend 2, 2, and 2, going down to 0, 6, and 2 in order to place one there and just get 8, going up to 236. There are only 3 damage spots remaining. So Shadowcat didn't go to the Omega spaces because she was thinking that she would prefer Magik to go to them. I guess that doesn't totally make sense because Shadowcat can go to an Omega space that's already been occupied, but I guess she doesn't have to use that ability. It's just convenient if she did. But that's why Magik didn't bother, because it wouldn't be blocked, and they are not worth particularly high points. They're just 9 and 9. So there's 2 Omega spots, both worth 9, and then 1 Psi spot remaining worth 10. It's going to be tough or impossible for Magik to catch up to gain that 10-point bonus. So I think our priority is going to be to make sure she definitely needs to get these 2 evolution cards on the board. Magik went to Xavier. She's going to get 2, 4, 6, 8 points for X-Men, going up to 223. Oh, and I was planning to send Shadowcat to Mirage rather than go to that last top space, but I'm not going to rewind that now at this point. Shadowcat's, well, she might not be ahead, because if Magik does get these, this is a good chunk of points. So I'm going to say that instead of spending the 2, 2, and 2 and doing that spot, she's going to get the 2 red back, spend 1 more yellow and 2 more blue to have gone to Mirage to place it on the Psi space, which was worth 2 more points. And now she's going to get 6 points, 6 pixie points for young X-Men. So 244, which means we've got a cheap Epsilon space and the 2 Omegas remaining. Discard the students, return the pawns. I don't remember. I think Magik actually passed first. So I'm going to switch the player order. I'm not 100% on that. Apologies, I didn't keep track there. Magik will grab the pixie this time. So 4 blue for her, up to 5. Placing 1 token on a place that she doesn't. You know what? Let's put on the Stepford Cuckoos. If Shadowcat goes there, Magik gets another student. I think it said Shadowcat will go to Nightcrawler, and we just lost our card viewer. Goodbye. Switch those. Get 4 more blues, up to 4. Just got to place another one of these. Put it on the standby Xavier, maybe? And I think Magik's just going to do the thing. So she's going to go to Cerebro and play an evolution card. She gets to play 2. This one costs 5, and this one costs 2 red, 2 yellow, and 3 blue. We'll go ahead and spend the 2 red, 2 yellow, and 1, 2, 3 blue, plus 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All she has left is 1 willpower, but she gets to play both of these, Infernal Power and Infernal Mastery. So now she's going to have 3 points per card out, which is 6, 2 points per card out, which is 6, and 1 point per card out, which is 6. Which is 3, 4, 5, 6 points per card out. So 36 total points at the end of the game, which effectively puts her in the lead, but not by a ton. Shadowcat's going to grab these 6 physical on Iceman. Now Magik has nothing. She's going to get 4 yellow on Beast. Shadowcat's going to take the first X-Jet spot. Magik's going to go to Xavier and get the blue for 1 plus... have him do, let's see, the 4 red in the danger room. She's got a little bit of something to work with. Shadowcat's going to go to the X-Jet again. Well, I think Magik will go to the X-Jet. Might be a little bit late. I think we're going to spend 2 red to go double up on Pixie. Go up to 8 blue and place a blue on the Headmaster. And Magik's just going to get 2 more blue, maybe? No, it doesn't make sense to get there. We'll go here. Go to the X-Jet again. So now going into the mission phase, Shadowcat's going to go to the all-new X-Men. That'll give 3 points to Magik to 226. You're going to spend 5 red down to 1, 4 yellow down to 1, and 3 blue down to 5 to deal any type of damage. She's out of tokens, so I'm going to take her turn order piece, and she's going to take one of the Omega spots for 9 points, plus her player ability for +6, so 15. Go to 259. It's her turn again. Oh, I didn't place her last pawn. She meant to go back to the X-Jet again. So it should be Magik, Shadowcat, Magik, Shadowcat, Magik. Shadowcat is going to go to the extraction zone. This powerful ability here is just 4 of any combination of resources. So she's going to take a red, a yellow, and 2 more red. Then Magik is up, and I think she has to do the same thing. Actually, so there's no shortcut to doing Omega damage, except for the all-new X-Men, which already got taken, which means she would have to do 10 red and 5 yellow, the printed cost here, which she can't do. So she's going to go instead and just pay the printed cost of the top one. So 2 red, 2 yellow, and 2 blue. It's going to give her 8 points, 234, plus 2 soul sword points, because she's got 2 markers now. That means Shadowcat gets to go. And can she do that last damage? She was going to go to M, but the Sigma damage, the Epsilon damage is unavailable. There's no shortcut on the Omega. So I think she's just going to go to the extraction zone again. Get 4 of anything. Say 1 red and 3 yellow. Puts everything at 5. Magik gets to go. And there's nothing better to do for her than to go here. And I think she's going to take 5 points, because in my head I know what's about to happen. We're going to reset the board. Pretty sure Shadowcat is first because she took the last turn, or because Magik placed last, which means Shadowcat would have passed first. And at the top of the round, I'm going to have Shadowcat's first action. I'm not even going to bother picking up pawns. I guess I should resolve this for Magik. She's going to get 2, 4, 6 X-Men points. Go to 247. Then Shadowcat will go to the med bay. She's going to play fastball special. That lets her assign a hero or student from her player board to an open space on a team up or mission tile. And she's going to place another one of her pieces back on the all new X-Men, spending the necessary resources to place the final damage, which gives her 9 plus 6 more because it's Omega, 15 points. So 74. Plus, she's going to win that win defeated, 10 points for whoever has the most, so 84, and then the game ends. So Magik's going to get these 36 points, so 47 to 83. Holy crap, that is 1 point difference. I'm sure I made plenty of mistakes, but that is extremely close. Now, there are other things. We could have played that round out more. The reason I would have had Shadowcat rush that final turn is because I'm tired and I need to go to bed, and this has gone really long, and I don't know when my overhead camera is going to die. So hopefully this is still recording. She actually had another card, Holiday Break. She could have spent 2 pawns effectively to get 8 more points with another action, and maybe Magik would have been able to do one thing in between there. Not sure what she would have done, but we definitely got a good sense for how to play. I'm not going to talk too long again because I don't know when it's going to die, but I'm really happy to have this game. I really like this kind of escalating worker placement mechanism. I really like the components. The artwork is great. The pawns are great. The acrylic standees. The theme is great. I love the variability, tons of different abilities and combinations. This ability, a lot of it revolved around the fact that Mirage and Pixie were both out on the table. Plus, this is just 2 of the 5 player boards with just some of the available options for which powers they would use, and just some of the villains, and just 1 of the 3 scenarios, each of which has multiple different villains and stuff going on that I haven't even tried yet. I was thinking about playing the other 2 scenarios, but I can't do videos of this length regularly. So thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.